Been happy days, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling days, dreaming about the world at once, and I believe it could be someday it's going to come. But now, on the edge of dawn, there are these things.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from KSCO Radio. It's just an amazing day out there, very beautiful. Spring looks like it is coming around the corner, which is amazing. I was thinking about this today. There's always out of the darkness and cold comes light. It always comes back around. We've had just years and years of weird things going on the planet. And then just the devastating storms that we've had in California. We're having tornadoes in Southern California, Northern California, road closures, people being isolated because of bridges being washed out and stuff like that. So it could seem like the worst of times, but you know what? At the same time, it's the best of times. And so we have to just look at where we are today and decide to move forward and get big dreams, because out of big dreams comes amazing things. And I wanted to share a little bit of a story today about what happened this last week to me. And it's just a point of, I guess it's a viewpoint of understanding, or a viewpoint of my cup is definitely overflowing with the possibilities of really neat things to come. So it started off kind of, as a drag, as you will hear, and then it could have gone a couple different ways. And, as I see the world right now, and so much contention from a microcosm to a macrocosm, meaning from the big world governments to the individuals in life trying to get by, the microcosm. And I see too much negative emotion out there, too much pent up energy that people are lashing out at each other. And, especially, which I sometimes look at the social media and I'm amazed at the anger of people out there right now. And I think our society over the last several years is, because of what's happened in the last 3+ years, has really tried the patience of people, and perhaps, and I'm included in this myself, brought down my willingness to understand the other person and or even grant them a little slack. So I was coming through the village, Capitola Village, the other day. It was about 5 o'clock at night, coming down the hill into the village from the Aptos area. And I was waiting my turn to take a right there on, Monterey and Capitola Road. And one car had turned right. I moved up, the car coming the other direction turned left. All of a sudden I heard a scream, and I heard felt an impact on my car. And I went, what the heck? I'm just enjoying the afternoon. So, kind of the sun had been out for the first time in quite a while. What the heck is this? And I turned around, there's no car behind me. I look through my right-hand rearview mirror and I see somebody had crashed into my car on a bike. And I went, what the heck? I'm just sitting here parked. Somebody has crashed into my bike. What the heck's going on here? So I get out of the car and I walk around and I see a young woman getting up off the ground. And, I could see that she was standing up, and the wrong part of me immediately looked at what was going on with my car. And I turned around, a brand new car, the rear tail light was smashed in. I go, what the heck? And I could see she was okay standing up. And, I asked her if she was doing okay. And then I looked at when she said yes, I go, well, look, you just broke my taillight. It's a new truck. And so then we went through both of our emotions of this incident happening. And, I said, well, okay, I need your driver's license. She says, I don't have a driver's license. I'm on a bike. And I went, oh my gosh. So this person kind of appeared to be what I would deem a college student. Um, and I kind of at that point kind of felt like, okay, I'm going to be taking the brunt of this myself. And so she didn't have a driver's license. Somebody came over. We all made sure she was okay. And that she looked at her bike, and her steering wheel of her bike handlebars were twisted off to the right quite a bit. And she, was really concerned about that. And she was upset. And I could understand, I could see she was okay. And I went to get the handlebars, and I was going to bend them back into the right place. But because of my profession, I know that you always want to ask permission to do such. So I said, okay, I can fix this. Is it okay if I do this? Because the last thing I want to do is, add fuel to the fire here. And so she said yes. So I pulled her handlebars back into place, and then they weren't quite right. So she asked me to move them a little more, which I did. And then I said, okay, so at that point, somebody came up and said, do you need a witness? And she and this other person exchanged phone numbers. And one thing I can tell you, because of the years in being a chiropractor, so many times when people get in accidents, there's no record. And I remembered this, so I decided to turn on my video on my cell phone so that I would have a record of this. And as I went around and we looked at my broken taillight, and she was on the phone, and I asked what happened. And the gentleman said how long I'd been standing there. She said I'd been there for a while, stopped, and so she ran into me. At the same time, I was thinking, how am I going to ever, get this corrected? These days, the way they make cars, just to fix a taillight's probably going to cost $1,500. This is what was going through my mind. However, I kept my emotions at bay, and I said, okay, so this is going to be expensive. How are you going to pay for this? You definitely ran into my car and you broke this tail light. And being a new car, anytime it's upsetting. But so she gave me her name and only her first name. And so she did text me, and I texted her back. So I had her phone number. But, being my position and her being a young college student-ish, and she told me she says, I'm just coming home from studying. And she was clearly upset, which, we both were. So I decided not to ask her last name. I thought that would be a little presumptuous. And then in retrospect, I thought, what a fool. I should have got her last name. I should have filed a police report. I should have called the police and at least filed it. Of course, the police will never come unless there's an injury. So anyway, we exchanged everything, and she went on her way and I went on my way. And then as I was driving home, I thought, oh gosh, I should have got her last name. All this stuff going through my head. And I was concerned and upset because now I have this thing to deal with. Well, regardless, I did text her when I got to my location where I was heading. And then she never responded, which made me think even further that I would probably be the one dealing with this. So time went by, the evening went by, the next day. And I'm telling you this for a reason, because we all go through these thought processes, probably think the worst of people. There's a time and a place to understand, people. And I'm working on this all the time as not only as an individual, but as a practitioner of 34 or 5 years, whatever it's been. So I didn't hear from her. I tried to call her. She didn't pick up the phone. And I thought, okay, well, I might as well just look up online and figure out how much I'm going to be out here. So I ended up looking up my car and the taillight, and I went, $120. Holy moly, I could not believe it. I figured, and there were 2 screws to take it out. I thought, wow, Toyota had done something without making it, taking the whole back fender apart to fix this thing. So then I thought, okay, well, she'll be relieved to know that. So I think I gave her a call and left a voice message telling her that, look, I just looked this up. It's only going to be $120. I'll go ahead and order it. It looks like I can fix it myself. I'll let you know what it costs. I mean, I'll give you a bill. So a little while later, I got this text from her saying, oh gosh, thank you so much. I'm so relieved to know that it's not going to be as much as it can be. I am a full-time student. The nicest thing that I have is my bike. That's the most precious item I have. And, so just so you know, I'll probably have to make a few payments to pay this thing off. And I thought, wow, okay, well, I got some responsibility from her here. And here I am taking, I have to really understand and love people more, as we all do right now, especially now. Okay. We just really, I've learned a lesson here. And I think that it's something that if we all showed a little more kindness, the world could be a better place. So in my Facebook explanation of the show, and I love to say this, you never know how far an act of kindness will go. So at any rate, I saw her email, and then I thought, or her text, and I went, okay, she's a college student. And I thought, what the heck? I can afford $120. I'm not, and she's a college student. I've been there. I went to college. I've been in that position. So I decided it's okay. I've never really spoken to her since this time. I just sent her a text and said, look, I was a college student once. Don't worry about the $120. I'll cover it. Pass it on sometime once you're along in your life. And then what happened from this point forward is pretty remarkable, in my opinion. So I got a text back from her that just said, I am so grateful for everything that you're offering me. And what I think I'll do is we're going to take a commercial break for just a couple minutes here, and I'll pull this up and explain to you what happened. I think it was pretty cool. So I appreciate y'all. Dr. Duncan McCollum, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Hi, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I want to introduce you to Amy. She has had some pretty severe surgeries and was in a lot of pain. And she's had some remarkable results with our new softwave therapy machine.
My pain was a 13 on the pain scale. Sometimes it was so hard I didn't really want to live. It was so bad. So I come in here, my first treatments, I stood up straight. I had no pain at all.
Now, you've had a few surgeries.
I'm fused from L2 to S1, and I have 8-inch screws to my pelvic bone.
You're talking to your surgeon even is excited about the fact we're using this machine on you.
Yes,
Right?
I have several of my doctors. They're really excited. They're more excited because when they see me on Zoom, I'm happy.
Yeah.
They listen to me talk, and I have hope.
See if the softwave therapy machine works for you. We have a $49 special that you can try. Call 459-9990, 831-459-9990. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I want to introduce you to Karen, another patient who's had some pretty serious surgeries in her back, terrible amount of pain, and has some incredible results with our softwave therapy machine. Then next week you came in and said, oh, now my low back is so painful. This is better. Can we do anything for your low back? So we said, well, let's try that. So what happened there?
The pain stops and it's all but gone. I watched the 49er game for an hour in a row in a chair.
Wow.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And I was able to walk on the beach.
Big problem came from the surgery.
It's really changing everything. Yeah, those are God bumps.
Yeah.
And I have them too.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a miracle.
See if the softwave therapy machine works for you. we have a $49 special that you can try. Call 459-9990, 831-459-9990.
Train sounding loud.
Okay, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum. I'm back, and I'll take a little divergence over to really encouraging anybody who's not tried our soft wave therapy machine, our tissue regenerative therapy machine yet. We see amazing, amazing results with this. People getting their life back. And I had a guy come in the other day, older gentleman in his late 70s, and as he had a lot of difficulty getting around, and he can't sit, can't stand, can't sleep. And as I started to talk to him about his what happened to his spine and his back, he said, well, I grew up as a wild horse bronc rider in the rodeo, and I also did bull wrestling and a couple other things in the rodeo. And it was amazing. It's like the kind of things he was telling me, how he got thrown up in the air and came back down, and the bull caught him in the mid back with his horns. And it's just amazing that people will put up with this stuff as a sport or activity. So anyway, I did an exam, consultation, x-ray on him. And when he came back the next day, we'd already done a TRT treatment on him, and he was feeling a lot better, and decided that he wanted to continue so that when he goes to Italy with his wife in a month, that he could walk around, because he can only walk like 40 feet without having to sit down. And I was about to put his x-rays up, and I said, if I didn't know you, I'd swear that you were a wild horse rider in the rodeo when I looked at your x-rays. And we both had a good laugh about it. But it's amazing what we can do with this amazing, innovative, advanced technology that's never been on the planet before. It's only been in the United States for about 3.5 years. I was the first one in California to have one of these things in a private practice, and it's changing lives. So take advantage of the $49 special. I have people that want to just barely getting by, but they want to get back to, golf, fishing, hiking on the beach with their animals or their kids, all these type of things. And you deserve a chance to be helped. So try the $49 special, 831-459-9990. And I'm passionate about it because I see amazing changes. One lady, Karen, who you listened to, she was in Friday, and we were talking about how well she's doing. And she said, when I first called your office, Natalie, who answered the phone, she says, it's a terrific Tuesday at McCollum Family Chiropractic. This is Natalie, I can help you. And Karen said, I started crying. I didn't believe you guys could. But just the fact that Natalie said we could help you made a huge difference in my life. And I'm here, and it's helped me tremendously. After 7 or 8 surgeries, paddles put in her back for nerve stimulation and such, she's now happy. She brought her daughter in. We did a treatment on her 39-year-old daughter the other day on her feet. It was really fun. So take advantage of it. Give us a try. You never know how far-reaching a small impact of stem cells can have on your body. So please give us a call. Give yourself a chance to get your life back, because it's spring. There's a lot to do out there. It's a beautiful day, and it's up to you to take advantage of it. I can only give you the opportunity to come in. You've got to make the call. 831-459-9990. Okay, I'm going to get back to my story about what happened last week when I was rear-ended in my truck by a young lady on a bicycle. And she broke my tail light of my new truck. We kind of went around. She didn't have a driver's license. We changed phone numbers, and she rode away. So I got to the point before the break where I decided, after finding out that she was a student and the cost of repairing this thing was not going to be that much, that I would just foot the bill And I told her, go ahead, and since you're a student, someday you'll have a chance to pass this on to somebody else. And from that point, a lot of things happened. So I'm going to read this text that I got from her. And this was her response to that. She says, "Hi, Duncan. Apologies for not responding earlier." Okay, hold on a sec. She just texted me because she's listening to this. "Hi, Duncan. I apologize for not responding earlier. This whole debacle brought me way, way down, and I need some very real time to process everything. I also didn't want to do anything or say anything to make matters worse beyond her self-infliction. Normally, I only want," and I left a message on her mom's phone. She goes, "I only want to leave messages with my mother because of her cancer, and before it takes her life with a very short period of time now." And so, and then she went on to say she'll cover the cost, and she appreciated me doing the research on the cost. But after that is when I said I would cover it. And she said, "This made me start to cry a little. I want to pass it on as well and repay you or show you something of appreciation and gratitude. You know, she can't accept me not sending her me something." The point being that here it is that this unfortunate incident occurred. Both sides of both parties were upset about it. I found that it was something that was reasonable for me to just understand that accidents happen, and I was in a better position to cover it than perhaps she was. And you know, by that small act of kindness, we've become friends, and we would have never met had this happened. And we've had some exchanges back and forth. She's a student going to become a nurse, and I'm trying to talk her into chiropractic. But you know, the reason I want to bring this up is because there's so many opportunities out there for each one of us to just take a look at the situation we're in and give a small act of kindness away. And just, you don't expect anything in return. Just decide to do that, and the world will be a much better place. So anyway, that was my story for the weekend. And it was really warmed my heart to get the appreciation of somebody who has her own life going on. She has her own struggles. And a lot of times I think that what we do when we're one-minded or one-sided, we see the world through our eyes only and look at the other person and what's going on in their life as null and void. You know, you did this to me. You got to make this go right. And here she texted me right now. "We would have never met. So fun. Ha ha ha. We turned a tragedy into a relationship that would never have formed otherwise." And that's my whole point. It's so cool. We've not met in person since this happened, but I know at one point we will. I've invited her to come to my office and you know, look at the chiropractic. She can find out about the stem cell machine. And her only experience, which is kind of funny, I'll say this, that she texted me about chiropractic, is one time she went to the chiropractor when she was a small kid with her mother. And her mother got the twisty and turny chiropractic adjustment, which we do sometimes. And she said, "I heard that cracking noise and my mother being twisted like a pretzel, and that she actually paid for the incident, and I never went back." So that's her experience of chiropractic. So we have a lot to do to undo the understanding of what chiropractic really is. And chiropractic is, you know, basically our body, when we were conceived, it's an egg and a sperm come together. One cell in 9 months becomes 75 trillion cells, all differentiated into different cells, organs, tissues, eyes, livers, kidneys, fingers, gizzards, and all that. And it's a miracle of life that put that together. And our bodies grow from that point, and we, based on on what we're exposed to in life, physically, chemically, and mentally, our bodies can withstand so much. When we actually are confronted with things that overwhelm us, whether it's an accident or an injury, like running into a truck with a bike, which I have not checked her out yet, whether it's the chemical toxicity of living in the most toxic period in the history of Homo sapiens, and those toxins get into our body. We have glyphosate that drives heavy metals further into our brain, and we have heavy metals, molds, hidden infections, 250 tons of toxins dumped into the environment every year. And those toxins get into our body and it's really crazy, and I talk about this a lot, is the Homo sapiens and our species has created so many toxins. It's something like 140,000 different man-made or human-made toxins and chemicals that we've created to help with, industry, with fertilizers, with pesticides, herbicides, chemical compounds to create industry. And those things are so terrible to life forms, especially when they get into the human body. The liver, which is the most amazing detoxifying organ, has to take these chemicals that have been created over maybe several years for the industry to create these things. And our liver has to be able to see them and detoxify them in a nanosecond, or they'll kill us. So our bodies are amazing at healing. And we've been dumping so many toxins into them, onto them. When you look go down in the grocery store, and there's an aisle that's filled up with, chemicals that we put on our body. We call it chemical row in our industry, where there's facial creams and salves and makeups and all these things that have never been tested by the FDA, and they've been approved, or the CDC, and they've been approved to be put on the shelves, to put on people's faces or their bodies, and we never know how toxic they are, because the justification for this is they go on the body, not in the body. So the assumption has been that when you put them on the body, they're not absorbed in the body, which is pretty ridiculous, because now we know you can put a patch on your body for estrogen, progesterone, hormones, and various other things, and have it absorbed through your skin. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have toxins on the body not absorbed into the body, and then hormones and other substances put on the body absorbed into the body. So these toxins get into the body, they cause chemical insult to the body, creating not only damage to the organs, but at a cellular level, they will affect hormone function, hormone optimization. The cell walls of the body get so filled up with chemicals, toxins, and bad oils, especially bad rancid oils that we get in the processed food we eat, and oftentimes we even cook with these rancid oils. They make the cell wall stiff so that the hormones and other nutrients cannot penetrate the cell wall. And that causes inflammation at a cellular level, not only because all energy is made in the cell, in the mitochondria of the cell, and there's only two fuels that it can burn. One is glucose and one is ketones. Glucose comes from everything from vegetables to sugar, meat, even protein burns ultimately as glucose. And it burns as a very hot fuel. It burns quickly, and it's a dirty fuel. Then ketones burn slowly and is a very clean fuel. Ketones come strictly from fats. So when we, obviously we're still walking around on the planet, so somehow or other our body is getting into the nutrients that glucose or ketones are getting into the cells to make fuel, but oftentimes the cell wall is so damaged that the toxins made from the fuel, the exhaust made from the mitochondria creating energy, can't get out of the cells and they stay in the cells. So the toxins in the cells actually cause mutation to the genes inside the cells. And this is where we can turn on bad genes. We can turn on bad genetic diseases. And so what we do in Western medicine is we treat these diseases with different type of substances, but nobody looks at what if we were to clean up the environment of the body, get these heavy metals, mold, and hidden infections out of the body systematically in a safe manner so that the body can become clean again. And, you know, an analogy of this would be if you had a bucket of dirty water, and if you stuck a garden hose in there and turned it on very slowly, that water would slowly clean that bucket until pretty soon it was relatively clean water. But you need to have the right formula to get these toxins out of the body. And that's where true cellular detox comes in. That's something that we do in our office. We help people. Number one, we have to assess what's going on, where the damage is. And then we can figure out a way to help your body detoxify in a healthy way without damaging it by pulling toxins out of the cells or the tissue too quickly. Now, the main thing that we want to work on at the end of the day is the brain, because the brain is predominantly fat. A lot of these chemicals cross the blood-brain barrier, which is the barrier between the blood vessels and the brain itself. Certain things are supposed to get through this blood-brain barrier into the brain to nourish the brain. But because of the inflammatory substances in our environment, of which there are plenty, they get into our body, our livers get plugged up, kind of like a vacuum filter or a whole house fan filter. If you don't change that filter, it's going to pretty soon overheat the machine and the thing will stop working and eventually burn out or blow up. So that's what happens to our health when we have these chemicals in our body, like the glyphosates, which is Roundup, formaldehydes, chemicals, the cleaning chemicals that are in our house that we use, the toxins in the soaps that we use, detergents and all this stuff, get in our body and they get stuck because the liver can't detoxify it quickly enough or turn it into a water-soluble substance that can be detoxified out of the kidneys and or the large intestine through the skin or the lungs. Our body becomes a toxic waste dump. And if you doubt this, just look at the health of the people in the United States. We're rated 47th in the world for health, which means there are 46 countries healthier than us, which is crazy because we spend more than almost any country in the world on drugs. We take 50% of all the medications made in the world. We're only 4% of the population, but we're rated 47th in the world for health. Now, for Western medicine, emergency medicine, we're the best. When my appendix ruptured in November of 2021, I was in the hospital for 5 days and I would have died if I didn't get the emergency medical treatment I needed then. The ongoing pandemic of pharmaceutical symptomatology cover-up is creating a multi-trillion-dollar business in the United States. In fact, we spent $4.3 trillion for healthcare in the United States in 2021. So at any rate, what can we do? We can do a lot to change this. I work at McCollum Family Chiropractic. I have a couple other chiropractors working there with me, an incredible staff. And I want to go ahead and listen to Gary, who had an experience here, not unlike Karen's, who I talked about earlier, and then also another success story by a good friend of mine, Lauren. And we'll be back in just a second.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. McCollum. I have this amazing guy, Gary, here, who's a new patient to our office. And he just came up to the front and started talking about stuff. And I wanted you to just express what you were telling us.
What is really satisfying to me is coming here and meeting fine people like Natalie. And frequently she's the utility player running around the office. And you can always tell that Natalie's on the phone because she will always say, McCollum Chiropractic, I can help you. And you know what? She can and she does. And it just makes my heart jump just to realize there's such helpful and friendly people in the office. Everyone from Angus, who runs the TRT machine, the other chiropractors in the office, and the administrative staff like Arlene, very friendly and very helpful. If you want to feel comfortable at a chiropractor's office, come to Dr. McCollum. He's conveniently located off of 41st Avenue.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Call today for a complimentary consultation, 831-459-9990. Hey, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I have this amazing patient, Lauren, here, and she had a few things to say.
Hi, I'm Lauren Spencer, a local realtor, and I've been seeing Duncan for years now. I had a biking accident and he's been adjusting me since then, and it's been amazing. But lately I've had trouble with my feet, and I'm an avid walker, avid biker, avid golfer, and my feet were aching all the time. And I tried Duncan's TRT machine, which is an amazing stem cell machine that rejuvenates the cells. And my feet, I've had like 3 or 4 sessions with the machine, and my feet are like new, no aches, no pains. It's a miracle. So I really highly recommend Duncan and his chiropractic services, but also that TRT machine. You got to try it. Thanks.
Wow, thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. So we still have the $49 special. Come on in and see if it works for you. Thank you.
Come take these strings sound in powder.
All right, this is Dr. McCollum back listening to Cat Stevens, Peace Train. You know, it's really fun coming in here on Saturdays, and on my way in, I usually figure out what my theme is going to be, and I figure out a song that might fit that theme. And today, Peace Train makes a lot of sense to me because, you know, right now we're at the dawn of spring, out of you know, the depths of a deep, dark winter. Although we needed the all of the water that we got throughout the whole country, I guess, but especially California after years and years of being in a drought. We have really been hit, you know, not only with the last 3 years and then having all of a sudden all the fires of the last couple of years, and then this tremendous rain that has, you know, dampened our country, created lots of issues. And, you know, it's really interesting when you take a look at, you talk about what happens with the weather, and you really think about it. Well, the planet's just been the planet, and the weather is affecting what man has, or Homo sapiens, have put down. And we think of it as a disaster when we see things along the coast or this or that. And it is to us, but to the planet, it's just the evolution of the life cycle. So when we talk about, you know, the planet endures and the universe endures, and there's this thing called innate intelligence that it lives in each one of us. The greatest physician who ever lived lives inside of us, and it's our innate intelligence. It's the knowing how to know unit. It's you. It's the person and your innate ability to do the right thing consciously, but unconsciously your body's going to overcome any obstacles to survive as long as the 3 stressors are minimized. There's only 3 stressors in the world, and there's only 3 stressors affecting your life. One is physical. That's affected by the nervous system. It controls all 75 trillion cells in your body coming out of the brain. There's 31 spinal nerves that divide and divide and divide till they go to 75 trillion cells. There's the chemical stressors, which are ominous. And a healthy body has a much better chance of overcoming the effects of those toxic chemicals. Unhealthy bodies, if you take an organ that might have pressure on a nerve in the spinal column, we know that the weight of a dime on a spinal nerve will stop its functioning by 60%. So if you have 2 lungs in your body, and the right lung is working at 100%, and the left lung is working at, say, 40% because there's pressure on that nerve. And viruses come into that body, or toxins come into that body, or bacteria come into that body. Is it going to affect is it going to expose the right lung, the good lung, or the left lung, the bad lung? Well, it's going to go to both. But which one has a stronger resistance, the healthy lung or the unhealthy lung? This is why when people get pneumonia, all 5 lobes of their lungs don't get pneumonia. Only the one lobe that has the weakened nervous system to it. So we have 2 lobes, 2 different cavities on the left side, because the heart's there taking up part of the space. On the right side, we have 3 parts of the lung. But sometimes people have water in one part of the lung, or pneumonia in one part of the lung, or such. And so, you can treat that, and there's different things that you need to do to get healthy. Whether or not you need to go down the medical route or not is not my place, because I'm not a medical doctor. But I know that by freeing up the immune system, by freeing up the nervous system that communicates to every cell and organ in the body, the first thing we do is detect areas of the spinal column that may have some pressure on them, which would result in interference with the communication from the brain to those organs and cells. If we leave that untaken care of, then the chances of ill health in that area are great, whether it's organ dysfunction, whether it's pain, muscle weakness, any of those things. So chiropractors, especially the ones in our office, are trained to detect and then correct areas of what we call spinal subluxation, to free up the body's innate intelligence to do the right thing, and that's to keep the body healthy. So the 3 stressors are physical, which is typically affected by different types of traumas in the body, work, chronic traumas of people that do repetitive things, major accidents, injuries, sports, all these type of things can cause stress to the spinal column and put a tiny bit of damage onto that nerve, not cutting it completely, which is devastating in itself, but affecting the communication from the brain through the circuit breaker, which is the spine, to the body. If you think about the spine and the 31 spinal nerves as a circuit breaker in your house, if you overcharge a circuit, or plug in too many toasters, it's going to blow a circuit, or in the old days it was a fuse. And it wouldn't destroy the whole house, it would just shut down that one portion of the house. And that's what happens when you have pressure on a nerve. It could cause sciatic pain, low back, if it comes down to your low back, sciatic pain, low back pain. It can go, those same nerves cause muscle strength or weakness in the leg, vibration, hot and cold. They expand and contract the blood vessels, giving enough oxygen to the organ or to the muscles and tissues of that limb to keep it healthy. But that same nerve goes to the large intestine. It will help with digestion or lack of digestion, proper digestion. And it also goes to your bladder. So it will help with a healthy bladder function. If you're a male, it goes to your prostate gland and to your sexual organs. If you're a woman, it goes to all your ovaries, fallopian tube, and other female organs. So, would you want to go through life with one of your nerves at half mast? Would you go through life with your body not communicating to itself correctly? This is what you want to get checked out. When we look at, I had a gentleman come in the office the other day, really nice guy. He drives for a living. And so he sits many hours a day driving through traffic of all different types of weather. And he experiences headaches every day, takes Advil and Tylenol every day for his headaches. But he also has extreme pressure between his shoulders and right at the base of his neck. Also some low back pain. But his main complaint was a chronic constant pain in his upper back and then chronic headaches that he had every day. So, he loved to hunt. He loved to backpack. He loved to hike. He loved to, he was an archer. He liked to play with his kids, and he couldn't do any of these things because of this pain, but he put off or just kind of closed the door to those activities. And he's a young man of 50-ish, right? And so here we are, and I hope that if you're out there doing this to yourself, that you pay attention. If you are limiting your activities because of some physical condition in your life, then it's time to make a decision. Spring is here. The darkness and the cold and the rain is gone. Get up and do something different. Whether you come to my office or go to another chiropractor, acupuncturist, natural healthcare doctor, give yourself a chance to live a much happier, more healthy, active life. It increases when you go out and do things you like, it increases your endorphins, your serotonin and dopamine levels go up. And all of these things make it for a happy life. You should be able to go out and enjoy the world, go out hiking, going to the beach, going on walks and this kind of stuff. If your body's limiting you from doing that, now's the time. Take a chance. I should play that ABBA song, but I won't. So, give our office a call. You can come in and do the $49 stem cell treatment. And we always do a consultation for free. So if it doesn't look like I'm going to help you, I'll say don't bother with doing the treatment. I'll try to find somebody more suited to treat you. But if we could help you get that part of your life back, that would be phenomenal. Now, the other thing is, of course, there's physical trauma, physical stress, chemical stress, and then emotional stress. So our office doesn't necessarily deal with that. However, I can tell you how every day somebody comes up and says, Dr. McCollum, and to my staff, thank you so much for, talking to me about what I needed to do to get my life healthy again. And these people stay up at the front desk, and they stay up there and talk for minutes before they leave because we've changed their life. And I want that for everybody out there. Chiropractic changed my life. I broke my back when I was 12. I went unnoticed because in those days, kids were seen and not heard. I was given drugs to cover up my elusive pain that nobody seemed to really believe was there. I got involved in a lot of street drugs back in the 60s and 70s because I lived in Berkeley, and I listened to the Jefferson Airplane and Grace Slick singing the song White Rabbit, where she said the drugs that mother gives you doesn't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when you're 10 feet tall. So I did all that. And even though it didn't help me with my pain, it helped me emotionally go somewhere else than reality, which I'm not saying was a good thing. And it almost consumed my life until somebody actually carried me into a chiropractic office at 20 years old, where I'd re-injured my back and been flat on my back for 3 weeks, couldn't move. I got in a chiropractor, Dr. Anthony York in Santa Cruz, took an x-ray of my back, and after 8 years of being in pain, the first one to take me seriously came out, pointed to my x-ray on the light box and said, "When did you break your back?" I couldn't believe it. All those years of talking and being in pain, all that time lost, all those years lost on being able to go out and enjoy myself like I could and should have. I did it drugged, but he gave me my first adjustment. I walked out of there. I was carried in, and I walked out, still in pain, but I could walk out on my own. Changed my life. That day I decided to be a chiropractor. It took me 8 years before I could even learn to read, because I couldn't read till I was 28. All of the drugs that I'd taken to get over the pain, the dyslexia I was diagnosed with in first grade, the mercury I played with as a kid, all those things had affected my ability to study. But once I had that first adjustment in my pain, and I found out that this is the answer to my life, to my problems, and I became a chiropractor. Now I've been doing it for 34 years. And I just want people to experience what chiropractic can do to change your lives. So you really should come in, and the best avenue is with the stem cell, the soft wave therapy, because we have a special for $49. Come in, I'll talk to you, see if it's something I think I can help you with, take an x-ray of the area, if appropriate, do a treatment if appropriate, and then we'll have you come back still for that same cost to see whether or not it made a difference and if we can change your life. It's so amazing. And what if you tried it and it changed your life? What if you didn't and things stayed the same or got worse? Anyway, I'm putting out a call. I woke up this morning. It was sunny, warm. I walked outside and I felt like life was just beginning. After years, I mean, months and months, and really years and years of constant stress. And I just feel like it's a new day, it's a new dawn. And join me in appreciating it. Join me in deciding that now is the time to make a change in your life or somebody that you know. Call my office, 831-459-9990, or find out somebody that you know that goes to a natural healthcare provider, be it another chiropractor or acupuncturist. We specialize in corrective care, not symptom cover-up. If you keep bailing out a boat and don't fill the hole, then you're going to be bailing for the rest of your life. And so much of your energy is going to be used bailing that you won't have the energy to enjoy life. So it's time to enjoy your life. And I hope that any of you listening have decided to do something different for yourselves. I know that every time I'm on the show, it helps me look at life a little differently, because I never know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm talking to myself this whole time. So now I get to appreciate what happens in life, what's going to happen from this point forward. Next week, I will let you know what happened, what other kind of things I've encountered, and I hope that we get a chance to meet soon. So give our office a call, McCollum Family Chiropractic in California, in Capitola, California, 831-459-9990. Go out and create a small act of kindness today. Just make it a point. Go out and just compliment somebody. Call a friend you haven't talked to in a few years. Just tell them that you were thinking about them and remember something that they did that made you smile and relate that to them. You never know what that small act of kindness will do. So we're about to cut out here for the rest of the day. We're going to go out with a little bit more of Cat Stevens and Peace Train. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Smiling, dreaming about the world at once, and I believe it could be someday it's going to come. Without on the edge of darkness, there lies peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country from taking over. Smiling, thinking about the things to come, and I believe.
Let's go, Santa Cruz.